Good morning, gamers. This is your Ohiohammer RnR for the week ending May 27th, 2012. First up, the Little Games Workshop news. On the Warhammer 40K Advanced Order section, we get the Space Marine Storm Talon, the Orc Blitzabomber, Burnabomber, and Dakajet. Also released is the Necron Doom Scythe and Night Scythe dual kit. Now, the White Dwarf coming out for June is said to have the flyer rules for the Storm Talon as well as the Orc Jets, where the Necron Jet is already in the Necron Codex. And these three kits come in at $45.50. Next up, we have the annual price increase. I'm not going to get into this too much. The price listing should be going live Monday the 28th on Games Workshop's homepage, and Games Workshop has closed the doors on the Warhammer Historical line. This one was rather out of the blue. It just appeared on the Warhammer Historical website. They were no longer accepting orders, and for any current orders to go ahead and contact Forge World. Privateer Press has stepped up and put out its summer sale. Now, what the summer sale is, guys, is they've decided to go ahead and put out a 25-point starter army for all the War Machines factions and all the Hordes factions with the exception of the minions. What you'll get in each one of these is a 25-point army and a free copy of the Mark II rulebook for that particular game system, and they range anywhere from $114 to about $130. So go ahead and check those out on the Privateer Press website. Scorn has went ahead and gotten a tri-box for the Titan Cannoneer, the Titan Gladiator, and the Titan Sentry. As with all the tri-boxes, it's 3 plastic kits in one box, with the common torso and the components to make the other two. And this will come in at $34.99. Also, this means that the Scorn Battle Box has went to all plastic, coming in at just under $50. We've also released the Cyclops Raider for $19. And also released is the Scorn Battle Engine, which is a hybrid metal and resin kit, for $95. Anvil Industries has released a set of Stormlord running legs for both its medieval and Praetorian styles. The cost on these is one set of the legs comes in at €1. Cipher Studios has went ahead and released 6 new sculpts for Eldorado. Now, just looking through these, I'm not seeing where they're coming out with a base size. Things like the Lizard Man on the first picture would be a really interesting stand-in for a Warhammer Lizard Man army. Eldorado is coming out with some disturbing but rather neat-looking sculpts lately. So hats off to Cipher Studios. Next up, Cool Mini or Not has continued to re-release the Rackham figures. Now they've come out with the Nobles of Cadwallon, the Bodyguards of Cadwallon, and Griffin Pack 1. Now, for the Nobles, it's 10 models for just under $80. The Bodyguards are 5 models for $80. And the Griffin Pack is 5 models for $50. Now, Hawk Wargames continues to put out some of its just excellent-looking sculpts for Drop Zone Commander. Looking for these is just the highlight of my week. I mean, the factions are all just gorgeous. And as of next week, we should actually have some pre-order information for Drop Zone Commander. Infinity has released their Quick Start rules as a free PDF on their website. Now, I haven't heard that much about the Infinity game system, but free rules, if you have any interest at all, jump on that while that's out there. Mantic has put up on their blog a few reinforcements for their Abyssal Dwarves line. Both the half-breeds the Slave Orc, and the Heavy Mortar. And we also have more on Mantic Games coming up. Max Mini has continued to expand its line of heads for 28mm heroic scale models with its Steam Knight Noble heads. There are 5 different sculpts, and you get 2 of each sculpt for €6. Now, Battle Foam has went ahead and put out a Puppets War Bag for $56.99 to hold the weird Puppets War game, and this includes the Lucius puppet. Puppets War has released 10 of its Horus-style shoulder pads for €7, as well as what they're calling the Orc Flying Coffin for €30. Now, the Orc Flying Coffin seems to come with multiples of the wings, multiples of the engine, a few different fuselage components, so that you can really kit out a different looking vehicle from each of these kits. And that'll clock in at €30. Reaper has went ahead and shown off its special ReaperCon 2012 sneak peek box of Pirates. Spartan Games has went ahead and put out the hardback edition of the Uncharted Seas rulebook. And as well, when you order directly from spartangames.co.uk, they'll throw in a free set of templates for you. Now, the book will begin shipping on June 6th and is currently clocking in at €20. Now, Spartan Games has also put out a few teasers for the next race for Firestorm Armada, the Orshan. And we're getting previews of the Dreadnoughts and the Cruisers. Now, Spellcrow Miniatures is offering a new Wood Demon model, and this runs just under €9. Titan Forge is selling a Grandmaster on a Demigryph. Now, this is a beautiful model. It looks like it would fit in wonderfully with any Empire players running the new Demigryph Knights. The base does look a little bit small, and it's normally €39. They are offering this guy currently for €30 while supplies last. Now, Kickstarter has been just alive with gaming Kickstarters this week. First up, Dragonshire. Now, Dragonshire has been looking for $500. Now it's almost up to $5,000 with 12 days left. What Dragonshire is, for people who are not familiar with the company, is 3D paper downloadable terrain. Definitely worth checking out. Our friends over at Impact, who a lot of people may know for their Blood Bowl sculpts, is looking for $15,000 for its Impact City roller derby game. Now, they've currently got almost $5,000 in with 29 days left, and are offering meeples in the game and offering some really nice sculpts of roller derby teams. Now, Mantic Games has went ahead and put out a Kickstarter for Kings of War. Now, they've asked for $5,000. They made it on the first day, and they're almost up to $28,000 with 28 days left, and is well into stretch goals, including such things as a 3-pack of werewolf sculpts for an add-on. And one of the stretch goals we've already met is buy a set of werewolves, get another set free. There was talk about some of their ogres making it into production soon. And Mantic has done a really nice job layering its tiers to include a PDF of the rulebook, a regiment, a small army, up to a 1,000-point army, all the way up to being flown out to Nottingham to pick up your army that was painted by Mantic and actually have a game against Ronnie himself. Also, in Kickstarter, Studio McVeigh has went ahead and put out a Kickstarter for a Sedition Wars game. Now, they were looking for $20,000, and they made it inside 6 hours. They're currently at $55,000 with 34 days left, and again, they're well into the stretch goals. I believe the next stretch goal coming up is a series of half a dozen or a dozen female Marines to go with the game. Now, the game itself comes with 50 highly detailed 28mm miniatures with bases, 5 large double-sided full-color game boards, the rules and scenarios, the stat cards, and game counters. So Studio McVeigh is definitely something to look into. And with that, guys, if you want to check out any of the products that I've mentioned, the websites are all up at the end of the video. And I will see you next week after just coming back from the Origins Game Fair. So, have a good week.
This podcast was brought to you by the Ohiohammer Network of Podcasts. If you liked the show, please check out our site, www.ohiohammer.com, and follow us on Twitter. Our addresses are at Ohiohammer2011, at Jake_Ohiohammer, at Mark Dieter, and at Ken_Second Founding. We ask that if you like the show, please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Remember, all products and companies talked about on this podcast are the respective property of their owners, and the Ohiohammer Network makes no claim to said property. As always, guys, enjoy the site, enjoy the podcast, and enjoy the game.